Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another episode of Gold Plays Pokemon White Colorized Randomized Nuzlocke. So last episode, I did a little bit of level grinding with my Pokemon, got a few items. Is this where I get EXP share? I think this is where I get EXP share. EXP share is essential in a Nuzlocke. At least this old EXP share is, because it's not completely broken and won't make everything in my party over leveled by like 55. Anyway, last episode also, however, I ended off starting to talk about just game projects I've done in the past, and I wanna keep talking about that this episode. So, ooh, wow, where to begin? Well, many years ago, I joined a nice little community called FE Shrine. Shout out. Actually, that is where I met Irene, who's the owner of this channel that I'm uploading this stuff to, so there you go. Nice little tie-in right there, huh? And, when I had already, like, since 3rd grade, I've been wanting to do game design, so I had already had plans for various games I wanted to design. But when I got to FE Shrine, I started learning about GBA game hacking and FEXP and stuff like that. And for that reason, I started trying to get into GBA hacking. One of the first completed hacks I ever made was actually for Rage Fest. It got disqualified, and I completely understand why. Well, first of all, there were a lot of flaws in design philosophy, and second of all, I mostly just made the owner of Ragefest very angry with various things in said hack, and also misstated the reason I was joining the contest, because up to that point I had no idea. Well, I knew what I was doing in Fire Emblem hacking, more or less. I could insert maps, I could replace text and characters, etc., etc., but I had no idea what I was doing as far as, like, event hacking goes, which is basically exactly what it sounds like, changing the events of the game. This thing is blue and yellow? Are you, like, flying electric? Flying normal? I'm not sure what this thing is. I'm gonna outrage it. Anyway, however, I misstated my intention for joining the contest, and I made it sound like I had joined the contest to get practice. You can do that for competitive games, but I would not highly suggest doing it for a contest where people actually expect you to be giving it your best. So there was a lesson learned there. I had just turned like 14 when I did that, so good to learn that lesson early. And ever since then, I've been trying to make everything with a reason of some sort, not just to make it or to practice. I cannot do that ever, because I end up coming out with a lackluster product. And anyway, lesson learned. This thing looks like an ice type. I'm scared to stay in. Let's go into busted. Actually, no, Mike can take it fine. Should be able to take it fine. It could also be water. Mike would not be able to take that as fine. Finally, I'm gonna go into Busted and find out what type this thing is, and put it in my memory for further notice. But anyway, after that, I mean, that kind of turned me off of game design for a while, just because, like, he had gotten pretty mad. And, like, I don't blame him for it, once again, but, you know, kind of left me just like, oh, I shouldn't try making games if that's just gonna be how it is. I got over that eventually, though. Oh yeah, this is like the grass type ditto. Mike can deal with that. I got over that eventually, though, and I started working on another Fire Emblem project that I had planned out for a while. I'm still considering completing a demo for that, but that project has actually evolved into something I want to make much better in the future. So that's actually, I actually like that a lot better than if I had actually made a hack. That said, though, the first game I actually completed was actually, the first full game I completed was actually before the Fire Emblem hack. I just remembered that. What I basically made is I had an idea for a Totoro game because my brother had introduced me to like Hayao Miyazaki stuff when I was like, I don't know, 10 or something, and I really liked Totoro, and I was like, maybe I could make a game out of this. Really the only two level ideas I had out of my head at the time were one where you'd be controlling the cat bus as it's taking, what's her name? As it's taking the main character to find her sister and do all that stuff. And so that, yes, that did end up being one of the levels, X Special Defense. Great job, Joey. You done messed it up, bro. Expected a oh wow, I got a crit too. Goodness. Brittany, calm down, that was savage. Ooh. Can I learn something? Oh, Dragon Pulse. Hang on, I need to... Yep. Dragon Pulse is just better than that move in every way. Okay, cool. I have something that makes me not need to use an overpowered move every time I want to use any move whatsoever. Anyway. And the other concept was Totoro... The scene where the two main characters climb onto Totoro's belly and they just kind of fly around in the sky for a while. I also wanted to make that a level where you actually had to control Totoro and he would dodge like clouds and birds and stuff, just so that they could have a nice, peaceful time. What it ended up being was a level with a maze, 2 levels where you'd control the chibi, I guess that's what they're called, chibi Totoro guys. The little Totoro guys, the blue one and the white one. And they would run around and avoid obstacles as they're running away from Doom Desire. Scary. I'm just gonna Dragon Pulse you again. And goodbye. Battle over. If I got hit by that Doom Desire later, I wouldn't have liked it though. In fact, I'm gonna switch into Busted right now. And then also the 2 level concepts that I had in mind. I like how I wrote that as if the last thing I said was in parentheses and people will have any clue what the heck I said prior. And I actually completed that game. It ended up being a bit glitchy, but I mean, it was before I was even 13. So personally, I'm kind of impressed that I actually finished a project long before I even remembered doing so. That's nice. That's cool, I like that. Since then, though, I've done a lot of projects on and off. I've had a few Zelda ideas. In like, for example, I had a Zelda idea I was working on. I'm glad I switched out. I just nothing to Busted because Busted is, as the name implies, busted. But I've had tons of projects I've worked on and off. But overall, I've canceled more projects than I've started, mostly because I am way too ambitious. Like, holy crud. One of the very first projects I tried starting was in Zelda Classic. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a recreation of the first Zelda, but it also comes with a... This thing looks like a water type. I'm afraid... I'm gonna Dragon Rage it. Nope, it's Steel. I shouldn't have Dragon Raged it. I should have Flame Kicked it. But anyway, Zelda Classic. For those of you who don't know, recreation of the first Zelda, but it comes with a quest maker so that you can make your own quest. And obviously there's been a whole community made around that because it's like Mario Maker for Zelda before Mario Maker was even a concept. So, I tried working on a project in that was... the idea of it was that Link just goes into one dungeon. The whole quest was a single dungeon. And the name I had for it was very apt. It was Single Dungeon Quest. Yeah, great name. And that quest, the original idea was a single dungeon with 5 floors, roughly the size of an overworld, which is 16 by 16 screens. That, yeah, that's ambitious. Life Orb, not using that in a Nuzlocke. Needless to say, that project has not gone far. And I've since completely scrapped it in favor for a different Zelda project I want to work on later. But presently, a project I'm working on that I think is going very well, and I think I'm doing very well on, is a Metroid hack. Now, for those of you wondering, okay, if I want to be a real game designer, why am I doing hacks and things if I'm not just making something from scrap? Seems pointless, right? Well, I disagree. I think that working on hacks and fan games and stuff like that, well, it doesn't teach you much about, like, world building and stuff. It can teach you very good level design. I mean, that's another reason, like, games like Mario Maker are particularly good, I think, because, you know, any kind of practice you can get, if you can practice world building, if you can practice graphic design, if you can practice level design, you're going on a good path. So anything I can do to practice those things, I've been doing. I've been trying to learn C++, I'm going to be taking a programming course next semester, but I mean, just all sorts of things. I'm just going to outrage this thing because I can. X special. You people keep trying to use items. Goodbye. But yeah, so the project I'm working on right now is just a Metroid hack. And once again, I'm super ambitious, but this one I think I can actually pull off. I plan on it being a full Metroid hack with 5 complete areas that stands it out against a bunch of other Metroid hacks. And the one thing that's going to make it stand out is that it is a Metroid Zero mission hack. So there's that. For those of you who don't know a lick of anything about Metroid hacking, Super Metroid is the single most hacked Metroid game, and possibly the single most hacked SNES game there is. Just mostly because the tools for it are all very easy to access. I'm trying to figure out what type this thing is. Water, steel, I mean, it doesn't look like ice, but at the same time, it was originally green, but now it's a darker green. Maybe it's just flying. Whatever it is, I'm gonna try outraging it. Okay, well, they used an item anyway, so that's fine. Goodbye! But anyway, yeah, so the most hacked Metroid game is Super Metroid. It's so much easier to hack, and has been for years. But I didn't want to make a Super Metroid hack, because first off, I've always really liked the idea of making a hack in the graphics of Zero Mission. You can't blame me for that. I love Zero Mission's graphical style. But also just to be different, you know? So, like I said earlier, I am trying to make games or hacks or fan games, whatever, always with a purpose now. And that is actually something I'd like to recommend to anyone trying to make anything. Like, make it with a purpose, because if you don't have a reason to be making something and you're just doing it, say, to do it, then it's like, you know, it's gonna come out lackluster in the end. For example, actually, I didn't talk about this. I made a mini-quest in Zelda Classic that I have not released anywhere. That was a blizzard. I should be dead. I'm glad I'm not, but dang, I really need to be careful. That was clearly an Ice-type Panpour. Oh man, yep, definitely switching out. I'm switching mic and some training once again. But I did make a mini-quest, which is 4 dungeons instead of 8, and the end product, again, I felt was lackluster, because I made the dungeon, or I made the mini-quest just to make a project and prove to myself I could complete it. Which, again, okay, that's not a terrible goal, but at the same time, it made the end product really lackluster. And I still haven't released it. Maybe I will at some point. Just to have it released. There's a lot of glitches I need to work out, first of all. But, the end product was really lackluster. But, I mean, the purpose I had made it for was completed. I proved to myself that I could finish a project, which, in the course of this episode, I have realized wasn't necessary, because I have completed a game in the past. Not that it was amazing AAA quality, or even up to snuff with indie games, most indie games, but I have completed a thing in the past, and it wasn't terrible. So, technically, out of all the projects I've started, which are roughly, let me think, 1, 2, 3, Fire Emblem hack, Pokemon hack, Fire Emblem Contest hack. Sell the quest. Game. So out of like 10 projects, I've actually completed 3. Many of them are still in the works as far as like the ideas and whatnot go. But, okay, look, the reason I'm saying all of this is, I mean, first of all, you get some insight as to who I am and what I do, which is, I mean, it's good because maybe that'll give you more knowledge on where my insane opinions are coming from. Did you just punch me? Get rendered. Get rendered spatially. Pity the fool. And I don't know, maybe it would interest someone, but the other reason I'm saying it is because if you're going into game design, don't let the fact that you cancel 50 projects a year get you down, and just keep working. Because that's what I'm gonna do. I am currently on break between semesters in college, and I'm gonna work the heck out of my Metroid hack, and I'm gonna complete that baby. I mean, I'm not gonna do it in 1 month because holy crud, like I'd be some kind of god if I managed to. I'd be like a game design lord if I managed to finish a full Metroid fan hack in the course of a month. Like, that would be ridiculous. But I am going to keep pushing, and I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to try and get feedback for it, and I'm going to try getting everything I can just to further myself as a game designer. And that's that. There you go. That's that story. So, now see, I told you I could talk about this for a long time. We're 16 minutes in. It's felt like 5 to me. I like talking about that. So there you go. I like talking about games and game design. I should show you guys my my completed games list. I have beat a lot of games, just in general. Also, I don't know what type this thing is. It's either fire or ground. It could also be rock. I'm very scared to face it with Mike in case it's rock or ground, but I'm very scared to go into busted if it's ground. So I'm gonna go into Brittany, hope it's fire. That's all there is to that. Okay, it is rock. So I'm glad I switched out, first of all. And I'm gonna switch out again, because Busted is gonna be able to take this thing on a lot easier. And I just realized it may be rock and ground simultaneously. Bit of a scary thought, but I should outspeed it significantly. Wait, it didn't get buffeted by the hail. Ice? Is it part ice? Huh. Okay. I'm gonna heavy slam it. And it's gone. Wait, do rock types not get buffeted by hail? Rock types are kind of strong. Also, this guy was a swimmer. Yeah, you sure look like a swimmer. If you clean the pools, give me that EXP share. There we go. Okay, so now for future grinding, for other wild Pokemon I get, it'll be a lot easier. Anyhow, there you have it. I've talked about game design, the projects I've done, and how I think, or how my mentality on going on projects is. Hopefully that was interesting to you, and it wasn't just me rambling on over and over again about how I've done things in my life. When I say it like that, I mean, that just makes me sound real selfish, but I mean, I can't talk about you. You're an individual viewer watching or possibly a group of viewers. If you watch, I can't watch YouTube videos in groups. More on that later. Regardless of who you are, be it an individual or a group of people watching this, I certainly hope you enjoyed, and I certainly hope my rambling did not get boring, even if it was a topic I was very interested in, and I know it's not something everyone else will be super interested in. But once again, certainly hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, Golden Warrior, signing out. I swear that the more I say it, the more it sounds like I'm Golden Warrior. What the heck am I so worried about? Get the crap out of here.